Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about vintage Avon perfumes that you can still buy today, and I've rounded out the top 5 cult classic vintage Avon perfumes that you can still buy today. And if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Laura and this is a channel where I talk about all things vintage. So if you love vintage, then please don't forget to hit the big red button below and subscribe. Alright, let's jump right in. I'm going to share with you my top 5 cult classic vintage Avon perfumes that you can still buy today. So Avon has been around for a long time. It's been around for 130 years, and it started out as the California Perfume Company, and they actually started out selling perfumes. And their first perfume was called the Little Dot Perfume Collection, and it consisted of 5 different fragrances that were only one note, and these scents were Lily of the Valley, Violet, White Rose, Hyacinth, and Heliotrope. So since Avon is known for its perfumes, it only makes sense that they still stand true today and are actually cult classic perfumes. And I've noticed from smelling all of these ones that they actually have a very high-end look and smell to them, and they're actually considered high-end beauty dupes. So a lot of these actually smell like high-end perfumes that cost over $100 a bottle. So I'm excited to share with you all of these scents, and I'll let you know which ones are my favorite and which ones they remind me of. I'm going to start out from the oldest perfume to the newest one, and the first one on the list is called Sweet Honesty. This perfume has been around since 1973. This one is a very feminine and youthful floral perfume. It's very powdery, and apparently it's supposed to be very similar to the perfume Baby Soft. This one is the first one I bought because I just really liked the name. I liked it that it was pink and floral, and it just sounded vintage, just the name of it. I actually have the deodorant as well, and I quite like it. So I'm going to explain to you the notes on this one. The top note is floral Adelaide and citrus. The middle notes are jasmine, rose, geranium, and sweet honey, as well as lily of the valley. And the base note is vanilla, musk, benzoin, and sandalwood. So I sprayed a little bit already on this little fragrance strip, and it actually settles quite nice to a very soft and feminine kind of powdery scent. It is very feminine, and it honestly has a really nice vintage smell to it, not in like a bad way. It just, I don't know. It smells very nostalgic to me, and it kind of reminds me of some of the vintage inspired face creams that I like. There's like an oil of Olay cream that's been around since the 1950s, and it kind of smells like this. But yeah, I quite like it. It's very soft, it's not overbearing, and it's very powdery and feminine. So the first one from 1973, and it's called Sweet Honesty. And the next perfume on the list is from 1974. This one is called Timeless. It's actually one of my favorites because it reminds me of a Chanel No. 5 knockoff. Even though it's from the 70s, it definitely has a very vintage feel to it. Reminds me of the 1920s or 1930s. So this one can be used in the fall and winter, but honestly you can wear it year round. I'm going to read you the different notes. So the top is fresh greens and sheer florals. The middle is jasmine, patchouli, and vetiver. And the base is oak moss, amber, and musk. So I already sprayed it on here, and honestly, it actually, I like it better almost than Chanel No. 5, mainly because it's not as heavy. It's quite light, but it settles really nice. It definitely, I don't know why they said it's for an older demographic, because to me it smells very nice, and maybe I'm kind of like growing more accustomed to the scent because I did a vintage perfume haul of vintage perfumes that you can still buy today, and now that I've been kind of researching vintage perfumes, I've kind of grown accustomed to the scent more so than I did before. So maybe that's why I quite like it. And I have the Chanel No. 5, and honestly, considering this perfume is only $9.99 and Chanel No. 5 is like over $100, it seems like a pretty good bet to get this one. And it smells really good to me. It honestly, it's crazy how much it smells like Chanel No. 5, but I actually like the way it settles way better than like it smells when you first spray it. And yeah, it's very classic and timeless, kind of like the name Timeless, but yeah, I can see why they would name it that. And it definitely reminds me of vintage perfumes from the 20s or 30s. So honestly, this is one of my favorite ones from the classic collection. The next perfume on the list is from 1977, and this one is called Candid. This one's supposed to be exotic and elegant and very glamorous. It can be worn all year. I was suggesting fall and late summer. The notes are sparkling bergamot, jasmine for the top notes. The middle note is blooming tuberose and ylang ylang. And the bottom note is vetiver, patchouli, and sandalwood. So I already sprayed it once on here. I wish, it's so hard to kind of describe what it reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of Timeless mixed with like a more of a modern 1950s or 60s perfume, if that makes sense. But it's very feminine and it kind of definitely has a glamorous smell to it. I quite like it. Can't really put my finger on it. It's less powdery than Sweet Honesty, but it definitely has like kind of a glamorous feel to it. But it smells really good. I quite like it, and it's actually growing on me, honestly. I like all of these in different ways, and this one is Candid, and it is from 1977. Now we have 2 more perfumes left, and we're moving into the 1980s. So the next one is from 1980, and it is called Night Magic. This one is supposed to be like elegant and sultry. I don't think it necessarily is specific for any time of year to be worn. Top note is neroli, jasmine, and muguet. The middle note is rose, ylang ylang, and sandalwood. And the bottom note is amber, incense, and musk. So I've already sprayed this a little bit on this test strip. And this one, it is kind of similar to Candid. I'm trying to put my finger on it. It smells, it's a little less sweet than Candid. But again, it's a very nice fragrance and it is very elegant too. And the last perfume on the list is from 1981. And this one is Odyssey. It's supposed to be like taking a tropical vacation or a cruise. And it kind of just reminds you of going on vacation, and it's all in a bottle. So this one, the top note is jasmine tuberose, and the middle is ylang ylang, and the bottom is sandalwood and vetiver. And this one, I've already sprayed it once on here. It definitely has that tropical vacation vibe, but not maybe necessarily tropical, because I don't really smell any coconut or anything like that, and I don't really smell like mango or any tropical fruits. But it just, honestly, it kind of reminds me of what the ocean would smell like, and maybe that's why they said it reminds you of a cruise. It's kind of like that Seinfeld episode where Kramer made up that perfume called The Ocean, where you smell like the ocean, but it actually smells good. Honestly, this reminds me of that. It's very fresh. I could almost see this perfume being unisex, but honestly, it smells really good. It's very fresh and kind of has that oceany vibe. Like this is what I think a cruise would smell like, not in a bad way. And honestly, I can't really decide which one is my favorite. In terms of one that smells the most like a high-end perfume, I would say Timeless, because it does smell like Chanel No. 5. Sweet Honesty is the first one I bought from the list, and honestly, I don't think it's necessarily my favorite. I thought it would be because of the pink bottle and the name and the description. I do like the powdery smell, but I think Timeless is my favorite because of the Chanel No. 5 reference, and I actually want to try the Timeless skin softener and the deodorant now. I had the Sweet Honesty deodorant, but I think I might switch over to Timeless. I quite like it, but I honestly wouldn't mind collecting all of them, considering these are only $9.99 each and the skin softeners are like $3 each. And I think the deodorants are always on sale for $1.99. It seems like a pretty good deal, and they smell really good for what they are. So I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you love Avon? Have you tried Avon? Are you an avid user of any of these fragrances, or have you smelt them? So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you've tried any of these perfumes. Alright, I'll see you next week. Bye!